So, I think Dave essentially was very proud of Chris. He was very supportive of Chris. He was in the room like he could have been anywhere, but he showed up to support Chris Rock do this live.
As if one comedian roasting him wasn't enough, Will Smith now has to deal with Dave Chappelle taking the mick out of him. Dave recently reacted to Chris Rock's scathing performance on his Netflix special where he absolutely destroyed Will Smith, and he's very happy that Chris did that. It seems as if everyone is ganging up on Will. But why are Dave and Chris teaming up against Will? Well, Kiana Dancy might have something to say about that.
I wholeheartedly that, they're friends, they care about each other, they love each other, and I'm sure many times Chris have run some material past Dave and vice versa.
Does that mean that Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle wrote the roast of Will Smith together? If yes, what reason does Dave Chappelle have to hate Will Smith so much? We don't really know at this stage, but we do know that Dave absolutely loved the fact that Chris Rock absolutely annihilated Will Smith on stage.
After the show, there was a lot of one-on-one with Dave. He got on the mic at the after party and was like, man, you killed it.
Kiana also pointed out that Chris had come really prepared with the bombs that he dropped on the Netflix special. She highlighted that Dave and Chris often use the same style and run their writing by each other, but Chris is way more meticulous with the way he prepares.
Is analytical. He writes, he postcards and moving around. It's a whole, just like in the beginning of the special, you saw him going through it, writing and changing it.
Does this mean that Chris Rock had been preparing the things he said for a long time? If that's the case, it would seem that he was more hurt by the Will Smith slap at the Oscars than he let on. And that is odd considering he acted like it wasn't a big deal for the first few months. But since then, Chris has gone all in on Will Smith and even Jada Smith, and Dave Chappelle seems like he approves. So what relationship do Chris and Dave really have? It all started when Chris realized the importance of having an ally in the cutthroat world of comedy, especially as a black comedian. He made a conscious effort to befriend Dave, someone he often gets compared to, and they've been close ever since. Their friendship goes beyond the stage and into their personal lives. They enjoy hanging out together with their friends or just the two of them, and Dave was even there for Chris during one of the most challenging times of his life, his divorce and custody battle. Dave's asking Chris Rock if he cried gave Chris the support he needed to know that it's okay for a man to show his emotions. But it's not just a personal connection between these two comedy legends. Chris has been a vocal supporter of Dave throughout his career, especially during his major comeback in 2017 after taking a long hiatus from the industry. In fact, they even embarked on a joint comedy tour together called the Total Blackout Tour, which sold out venues across the country. According to The Independent, Dave would randomly show up at Chris's gigs and end up hanging out with him on stage for hours on end. It wasn't just a quick cameo, they would riff on topics, tag each other's lines, and have the audience rolling with laughter. Chris himself couldn't help but gush about these impromptu performances during an interview with Howard Stern. There was like a couple shows that were just me and Dave on stage for like 2 hours. He would call up my road manager, like, I'm coming, and we'd set it up for him. And literally, him and I would come on stage together. We'd just riff, we'd get on one topic and he'd do his version of it and I'd do my version of it. And we'd tag on each other's lines. It's like Jay-Z and Kanye when they're on tour together. That would certainly explain the close bond the two have together and why Dave Chappelle also greatly dislikes Will Smith. Look at how he reacted to Will Smith's slap by making fun of him. And this is made even more puzzling by the fact that Will and Dave used to be good friends. There was a time when Will asked Dave for advice when he wanted to do his first stand-up comedy show.
To sit with you and get some pointers and some ideas. I've never done stand-up. I've never used my life to create material to try to make people laugh.
Dave also reacted to the slap in more puzzling ways, insinuating that Chris would perhaps press charges against Will Smith for slapping him on stage. We know that didn't happen, but considering the fact that the two are good friends, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for Dave to know something that the world doesn't. The two have announced a co-headlining tour for 2023 that kicked off on January 20th. This 5-show tour took place over the course of a week and saw the duo travel to Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Memphis, Birmingham, and North Charleston. This tour is a continuation of their friendship and collaboration, which has spanned many years. They previously embarked on a 9-date tour in December 2021, where they performed in California and Arizona. The audience was buzzing with excitement as Chris Rock took the stage at the 2022 Oscars, cracking jokes left and right. But then, he made a joke that hit a little too close to home for Jada Pinkett Smith, who has alopecia and has been open about her hair loss. Without warning, Smith stormed onto the stage and gave Rock a smack across the face. Rock was left stunned, not quite sure what had just happened. The drama didn't end there. Smith won the Best Actor award for King Richard shortly after the incident, but he wasn't able to fully enjoy the moment. He gave a tearful apology, acknowledging that love can make you do crazy things. The next day, Smith took to Instagram to publicly apologize to Rock for his outburst. He owned up to his mistake, saying that he was out of line and wrong. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job. But a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. He wrote, unfortunately for Smith, his actions had consequences. He resigned from the Academy and was banned from attending the Oscars for 10 years. Chris Rock is now finally speaking out about the infamous incident where he was slapped by Will Smith after making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair. In his new Netflix special, Selective Outrage, the comedian addressed the incident head-on, telling the audience that it still hurts. Y'all know what happened to me, getting smacked by Suge Smith. Rock said, people are like, did it hurt? It still hurts? I got Summertime ringing in my ear. But Rock made it clear that he wasn't playing the victim, saying, you will never see me on Oprah or Gayle crying. Later in the special, Rock hinted that marital issues may have contributed to Smith's outburst. He referenced the Smiths' public discussion of Jada's entanglement with singer August Alsina during a break in their marriage. His wife was her son's friend. I normally would not talk about this S, but for some reason, put that S on the internet, Rock said in the comedy special. We've all been cheated on. None of us have ever been interviewed by the person we cheated on television. She hurt him way more than he hurt me, he added. It's clear that the incident still weighs heavily on Rock, but he's not letting it define him. According to Entertainment Tonight, however, Smith is feeling a little embarrassed and hurt by Rock's recent comments about him and his family during his Netflix special. Will is embarrassed and hurt by what Chris said about him and his family in his Netflix special. He didn't watch it, but he had people tell him what Chris said. It's everywhere when you look online and on social media, so Will and Jada have seen comments about it, a source revealed. But it seems like Smith is trying to take the high road and move on from the whole ordeal. The source also shared that Smith has apologized to Rock and would like for him to do the same. Will apologized to Chris and would like for Chris to let it go. Will has worked on himself and he's banned by the Oscars for 10 years. He feels like that's enough and wants Chris to move on, so that he and everyone else can too, the source said. However, Smith is also reportedly upset with Netflix for giving Rock a platform to insult Jada again, and thinks it's distasteful. Oh, the drama. Will these two ever be able to bury the hatchet and move on? Only time will tell. The Oscars 2023 are just around the corner, and Jimmy Kimmel, the designated host of the prestigious ceremony, has shared his thoughts on the infamous Oscar slap that rocked Hollywood last year. In a recent interview with People magazine, Kimmel praised Chris Rock for his calm demeanor after being slapped by Will Smith at the 2022 Oscars, stating that to be slapped in the face and to stay that cool is something that Chris should be proud of. Kimmel acknowledged that the incident was shocking and garnered a lot of attention, especially since it happened on such a grand stage. To see something like that happen outside of like the Maury Povich show is shocking. And then for it to happen on the Oscars magnifies it by about 1 million times. He said, despite the shock and attention, Kimmel is confident that everyone involved regrets what happened and is ready to move past it. I think it's something that everybody regrets and that we will move past. He added, Kimmel also expressed his respect for Chris Rock and how he handled the situation. Chris's grandchildren, I hope, will still be proud of that when he's dead and gone. He quipped, with Kimmel's wit and charm, we can't wait to see what he brings to the Oscars stage in 2023. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching and goodbye.